Today's episode is brought to you by Restaurant.com. With Restaurant.com, you can save at thousands of restaurants across the country with just a few clicks. Their dining deals range from $5 to $100, never expire, and cost you a fraction of the face value. Dinner has never been easier with Restaurant.com. Used for dine-in, takeout, or delivery.
Restaurant.com is offering our listeners 50% off their next purchase by going to www.restaurant.com/podcast. That's www.restaurant.com/podcast for 50% off your next purchase. Restaurant.com is the best deal every meal.
Ideals like peace, freedom, and justice, they get packed up, but we can all go home. Well, I'm not going home. I'm gonna get on my boat, and I'm going upriver, and I'm going to kick that son of a bitch bison's ass so hard that the next bison wannabe is gonna feel it. Now, who wants to go home, and who wants to go with me?
Welcome to the Rated G for Gamers podcast, episode 239. Before we start the show, we want to thank all of our wonderful fans who have supported us. And if you want to show support for the Rated G network, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/Rated G for Gamers. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Rated G for Gamers. And finally, please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. We appreciate all the love. I'm your host, Dave Rotino, and this is my co-host, Dan, the podcaster formerly known as Classic Robinson.
What's going on, man?
I feel very productive, Dan. I finished painting the walls in my place. Everything looks nice and crisp. I did the baseboards in a white. I painted that hallway. A nice red, and
oh god,
it looks good, man. It looks good.
I'm gonna get you a Spider-Man. I'm gonna get you a Spider-Man poster.
It's not Spider-Man red. It's a very nice.
I didn't know there was a Spider-Man red. I didn't know there was a. I didn't know there was a shade called Spider-Man.
Why are you hating on my walls, man? I wanna bring a little color into it. I want to bring a little color into it. Who paints their walls red? Who paints their wall red? All right, I'm gonna everybody, because why would they have paint chips in every single color if people aren't gonna pick it up and go, hey, I want red walls? Obviously, people do.
Where did you go to Lowe's and say, hey, I want red, and they're looking, and the guy was like,
Depot, but yeah,
I don't think we have red. Oh,
we gotta
go to the back. We gotta go to the back.
They have a whole section just for Red Dead. All right.
Oh God.
It is official. All right. Look. I know.
I'm gonna get you a Nintendo Switch logo poster. Okay.
I would gladly put it up. Again, it's not that color red, and there is more. There is more than the three primary colors and the three secondary colors and the three tertiary colors. All right. Yeah, right. It is more than the 128 big box jumbo set of Crayola crayons. All right. You got to expand your horizons.
I'm good.
This guy over here, pumpkin spice latte and Ugg boots all day is it's white or nothing.
First of all, Uggs are comfortable. Okay,
they are. They're also basic.
I'm Native American. They come from Native American culture. Okay,
mm-hmm.
All right. They're supposed to be basic, not supposed to be fancy. Supposed to keep your feet warm and look good, and they do. Okay.
Well, there you go.
Tom Brady is indoor. He has his own section of Uggs. Just let you know.
You can be bland and predictable, Dan. I'm gonna be colorful over here. All right. So
colorful. You could have picked light gray. You could have picked light blue. You could have picked white.
There's like 5 colors that you'd be like, okay, these, and that's it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You picked a red.
Oh my God.
And listen, I like
Yeah,
red
man, it looks
because
good. I'm looking at it right now.
I
I'm
like
looking at
red
it right
because
now.
I graduated from St. John's University, Red Storm.
Yeah, that's right. But that is again.
Don't want to paint my walls.
The Spider-Man red, the Nintendo red, and the St. John's Red Storm red are not the red that I used. All of those reds are in the same domain as like super intense, like 255 on the damn slider scale of saturation. All right, that is not what this red is. This red is like middle of the road saturation. Right? It's a very nice light red. So
Okay.
You're thinking you're thinking it's Mario's overalls, all right?
I think Mario's overalls are blue.
Oh, and I
think his shirt's red.
I have to say one more thing. To take a 180 from the wall painting situation. I went to the dentist today. This is a little side tangential thing. I went to the dentist today, and they're like, "Look, you have a cavity, and I've had this cavity for a while, right? And I got some other stuff done before. I didn't have enough insurance to cover it, so I'm like, I'm gonna wait. It'll be fine." And then I went back finally now because like zombie apocalypse and all. I was like, I'm not ready to go back yet. And the dentist keeps calling, and I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go back. And I go in, they're like, look, you got a cavity, boom, boom, boom. We'll knock it out in 5 minutes. I said, all right, let's do it. And then the doctor's like, I'm not gonna give you Novocaine. Is that cool? And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, it's like surface level. It's very tiny. Like, trust me, you're not gonna need it. And I'm like, okay, I trust you. And he was right. He was right. I didn't feel a thing. It was very surface level.
Listen, I don't trust anybody. Knock me.
You would have gotten the Novocaine? Oh, no, it wasn't that bad. Well, I didn't even feel any pressure on it. Like, it was just
knock me out.
It was just the sound of the drill going in. But it was so high up, it wasn't near the nerves. He's like, no, you'll be fine.
No. Knock me the fuck out. Okay.
I mean, that's how I felt too until we started going in, and I'm like, oh, this isn't that bad.
Well, here it is. It's knock me the fuck out until he shows me the bill. And he's like, well, if it's Novocaine, it's this much. If it's not Novocaine, it's this much. And
oh, yeah.
Right, don't knock me out. Don't knock me out. Don't knock me out. Don't knock me out.
Yeah, they're definitely going to charge you for it. They're going to charge you for it.
Don't knock me out.
So that's how my weekend was going. Yeah.
While you got your while you went to the dentist and were getting my teeth drilled and painting your walls like a Spider-Man, I was in Philadelphia. I was in Philly. I went to go get Philly cheesesteak.
Mm-hmm. What'd you get? Geno's or Pat's? What are we talking?
Neither. That's all touristy stuff.
Okay? Nice.
You go get Jim's. Okay.
You gotta get Jim's. All right.
Jim's is awesome.
Nice.
It's funny. I got there at 11:30. The day I got there at like 11:30.
A.M. or P.M.
A.M.
Oh, okay. All right.
Nobody there.
Making sure. Okay.
Nobody there.
Yeah, man. It's still breakfast time.
No. Listen. Went there 11:30. Got there easy. No, went in, went out. Right. Mm-hmm. Like they only allowed 4 people in the store at a time.
Yeah, of course.
So it was like, all right, cool, not a problem. The next day when I was leaving, I got there around like 12, and there was a line around the corner. Yeah, it was like this line around the
lunchtime, baby.
I waited longer to get a cheesesteak than I did to go see the Liberty Bell. Okay, and the lines were still long. There's the same amount of lines. So,
nice.
So definitely went to Philly. I hit up a Philly GameStop. Had to hit up a Philly GameStop.
Of course. I'd be upset if you didn't.
And you know what I got?
I don't know. What'd you get?
Nothing good because they didn't really have anything in there. But I did have I did see the Tataco figurines. They had them on clearance. Nice. Well, first of all, they didn't have it listed as clearance. I knew they were clearance just because it's like clearance everywhere.
Right.
But they still had the sticker on it, $29.99 or like $15.99. And I was like, hey, can you just check the price of these Taku figurines? And they were like, oh, $2. $2 and $1. And I was like, done. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Well, which ones did you get? That's the question.
Well, I got the triple pack for Spyro the Dragon.
Oh, nice.
I got Spyro the Dragon by himself, but then they came out with a triple pack to celebrate Spyro 1, 2, and 3. So I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Is it
right.
3 versions of Spyro, or is it like some of the... Okay.
It's just 3 different Spyros like together. Like that was the main thing. That was the main one I wanted. They had some Yu-Gi-Oh the card to cartoon, right? I know the cartoon is like Yu-Gi-Oh because I remember it came out when Pokemon came out, and it was like which one's better?
It was definitely a like mid to late 90s thing.
Yeah. So I got one of their figures, but I didn't really care about that one. It was like, if I get the Spiral one, how much is this? Because it says $29.99. It was like $2. I was like, it was like $2.99. I was like, done. I'll take the Yu-Gi-Oh one too.
Nice.
Done. So, and I cleared them out with some other ones. There was like a Tomb Raider one, and there's a Tomb Raider one that wasn't on clearance because that was kind of new, right?
Yeah.
And it was,
I remember that coming out pretty recently.
It was an Asteroids. There was an Asteroids one.
Asteroids?
I'm sure no one.
Like
Asteroids?
Like the Atari
it was an Atari, yeah, the Atari game.
What do you play? What is it? Just a triangle that's like the ship?
No, it's like the little monster, just the little monster.
The monster? You mean the asteroid ships? You mean the little like?
Ah, man, I already put it away. I don't know much about it.
It's not. Are you thinking of Space Invaders?
There we go. Space Invaders. It was Space Invaders.
Okay, I thought so. The little monster. I'm like, there's no monsters in asteroids. They're legit asteroids.
You know what? You would know. You were in college when this came out. So,
oh my God. I just know there's no monsters in asteroids, Dan.
There's no
You're
monster
fighting asteroids in an asteroid belt.
There's no monster asteroid.
Not space age aliens.
Asteroid. There's no big monster asteroid that comes at the end that says, you can't beat me.
No, there's no boss. It's a very simple game.
All right, here we go. Space Invaders.
Okay.
Same diff.
All right. I got you. I know you're losing your memory in your old age, but I got you.
Well, you would remember. Again, that was your prime. You were in college.
Dan, I drink, and I know things.
So, did you get any good pickups over the weekend?
I did actually. I got my first Xbox Series X game. I have yet to open it, but I got FIFA 21, and I was looking at it, and I'm like, wow, this is like the same form factor as an Xbox One case, right? But there's some small differences. One, on the front, there's that optimized for Series X badge in the upper right-hand corner, right? And it says Xbox.
People hate for some reason. I don't know why. I kind of like that badge.
It's fine. It's nice. It's understated. It's up in the corner. It's not intrusive. It's a nice design. Yeah, I don't mind it either. And then and then like in the upper left it says Xbox One and then Series X, right? And then on the side it just says Xbox as opposed to Xbox One. So I'm gonna have to keep them separate. I was thinking, like, do I mix these in with Xbox One? And because it looks almost exactly the same, but because of those two small differences, it gets its own shelf. So
it's going to be a shelf of one by itself.
For now.
All by itself.
Well, look, I also got Valhalla coming. I got Assassin's Creed Valhalla coming. That'll be the second Series X game that I get. So
you got to play something on the Series X.
Yeah. And also, I was out at a Goodwill today because I was in the city taking care of business, haircut and dentist and all that stuff. And I found a copy of Settlers of Catan, the board game. And I asked the lady, because it was in a giant bag of like stuff that wasn't like processed yet. I'm like, how much? And she's like, $3. Done. Because that game goes for like $40-$50, right? Board games, especially the good ones, are not cheap. So I was like, yeah, I'll take it. Am I ever going to get around to playing it with people? I don't know.
I don't know jack about board games. So
it's Settlers of Catan. Settlers of Catan is like Super Mario Brothers of the board game world. It is very highly regarded. Everybody loves it. Everybody owns a copy. Everybody loves playing it. All right. It's a very good game. I can say that about it. I actually haven't played Catan personally, but it is up there in terms of like the quality board games.
We're going to have a good show this week. Coming up, we're going to talk about the PS5 teardown and does the Xbox run super hot. But first,
Xbox Series X, yes?
The Series X. Well, we'll talk about that. I got some things to talk about that. The Xbox X, the Xbox One X as well. But let's begin with the Universal Studios of Japan. Okay, they had a Super Nintendo World planned. I think they were planning opening this year, but obviously because of the zombie apocalypse, they had to move it back. So it looks like they're looking to open it up in the spring of 2021. I'm going to be honest. All the pictures look awesome. It looks good. I definitely would love to go one day, but I think this is a premature sort of it's premature to say that they're going to open spring 2021.
They're not going to be able to have like a full grand opening come April. That is very optimistic.
How about like a soft opening, right, where you limit the amount of tickets you can sell for it, and it's really at maybe 20% capacity, if even, maybe. I don't know.
I think they'd have to do that. Yeah.
I mean, Japan right now they're getting hit with increases in infection rates for the zombie virus, right? And it's really hard to even get into Japan. I mean, it's not easy, and you have to quarantine in a hotel for 2 weeks.
Hard to get into any country, for that matter. Like, I think you have to do that all over the place. Yeah.
Just not here in the United States.
Well,
they don't recommend quarantine anymore for international travel. So, but anywhere else, you got to quarantine in a hotel for like 2 weeks, which is crazy. So yeah. I think this is sort of premature. I don't know how well this is going to work. I think maybe a fall 2021 at best. So I don't think it's something that'll be in the spring. That's just too soon.
Yeah, no, agreed. But
the Mario Cafe, the pictures of the Mario Cafe and the food that they'll be serving look awesome.
Yeah. It looks super cute, super on brand. They were supposed to do the Super Mario World or whatever in the Orlando Universal Studios, right? Like that was the thing.
I think that was coming up the following year, right? Like 2022, I think, or 2023. Maybe I think it was supposed to start construction next year and open up in like at the end of 2022.
For some reason, I thought they already broke ground, but I guess not. Huh.
I don't think so. Well, put it this way: even if they already broke ground, I'm sure that
they're not
kicks to a halt real quick. Right?
I guess. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like they've been doing construction across the street from me nonstop. Like maybe they stopped down for a week after the virus got real bad, but I don't know. They've been out there like working like a champ.
I'll tell you a little secret, Dave, for someone who works in this business. Right. They weren't allowed to do construction for many months. Well. Okay. But if you already had the framework up, people secretly were in the buildings doing construction when they were
the framework up, I mean, they had the whole exterior of the building done.
Yeah, well, there you go. Then they can secretly put tarp over everything and work on the building when they're not supposed to.
Well, yeah, cops weren't stopping them. Cops had bigger things to take care of. I mean,
they had bigger things to take care of. Yeah. You want to talk about delays. So we talked about The Batman, which I still can't get behind. The Batman.
What about The Matrix or the whatever? There's tons of movies that have the in front of it.
Yeah, and those another T word, those work. The Batman doesn't work. I'm sorry. It just doesn't work to me. It doesn't work
they have certain comics that are like called The Batman. Like that's not the first time they've done that.
Yeah, well, that's the comic book called. There's a lot of things you do in the comics that don't work in the movie.
Well, then there's like precedent for it. There's precedent.
So how about this? How about we call the movie The Wolverine or The Daredevil? Oh, The Superman. How about that? It just doesn't work. I'm telling you. I'm sorry. The doesn't work. Okay.
I mean, I get what you're saying. It's just I don't know.
The next Iron Man movie is going to be called The Iron Man. How about that? It doesn't work. I'm sorry. To me, it doesn't work.
You're making a case here. I mean, I can't say you're not wrong. It just doesn't bother me.
It bothers me. But we talked about Mr. Twilight himself, Robert Pattinson, coming back.
Who's to be fair is actually a good actor. He was just in a bad movie.
He was in a bad series of movies.
He was in a bad series of movies. Yeah. But you know what? I'm not going to fault him. The man made his bread.
It made him famous. It made him famous, right?
Exactly. So. They paid him a lot of money for it. He made out well. So I ain't faulting him. It's still a bad movie, but.
So he caught the zombie apocalypse. He caught the zombie virus, and he had to quarantine for 2 weeks.
Requisite 14 days. Yeah.
Yeah, and they resumed shooting, but they have officially delayed The Batman until 2022. It was supposed to be 22. It's supposed to come out next year, but they moved it to 2022. since that, they've moved up The Matrix 4 to 2021 to make up for it. So The Matrix 4 has been done shooting. They're just in like post-production right now.
That's exactly what that means, right? So. If you know, because when you make a movie, you pretty much have to have people on set unless you're doing like Castaway with Tom Hanks, where it's just an island of one. And you can get away with like a few crew guys and the director, and then that would have been a great quarantine movie to make, right? Like, sure. Hey, during the zombie apocalypse, I was doing Castaway, which was great. I could social distance away from everybody. Yeah. Have you seen They're actually trying to push these social distancing TV shows in like movie premises, where it's like people are hanging out over Zoom and that's like the whole thing, and it's like, no, this is terrible. Don't do this.
Well, you know, a lot of Netflix shows were canceled because they couldn't do any social distancing in the movie. Like that movie that with the women wrestlers on Netflix, that got canceled.
Oh yeah, Glow.
You obviously can't social distance when you're wrestling someone, well, pretending to wrestle someone.
Yeah, and that was like, oh, you're right. Yeah, you know, because that's like that's the whole backdrop, right? Is all these like ladies, you know, it's the story of the female wrestling league, which was 100% a real thing, like the Gals of Glow.
However, we still have real wrestlers wrestling each other. But
well, I mean, but they're like quarantined and all that. Yeah,
they're not really quarantined.
Well, I mean, they're supposed to be quarantined, but Glow is an amazing show. So I feel like Glow is going to come back, but they obviously can't do production on it because there's like 12 to 20 female wrestlers who are in that show. So there's a lot of actors and moving parts and all that, beyond like everybody else who's involved with the show. So, but it did amazing. It was really good. It had 3 solid seasons. So I bet you it's going to come back. I think it's going to come back.
All right. We'll talk about movies that are coming back. We got Spider-Man 3. We talked about that because Electro, Jamie Foxx will be in the next Spider-Man 3. We think
he's not going to be blue, apparently.
He's not going to be blue. Wonder how they're going to explain that. But we did say this could be the introduction to the Spider-Verse, right? And this now confirms it to me. I'm sorry. Doctor Strange will be in Spider-Man 3. He will be the mentor to Peter Parker that Iron Man was. Well, Tony Stark was.
He's taking over the Tony Stark part because for reasons based on the MCU, things went down. Yeah.
You're really dancing around. You're really dancing around that right there. Who hasn't seen the Avengers?
Look, I'm just saying. We can go ahead and put a spoiler up right now. Skip ahead.
All right. Look. We're gonna skip
ahead 15, 20 seconds.
We're gonna spoil a movie that came out 2 years ago that everybody in the world saw.
I know some people who still haven't seen it. All right.
It's a box office.
All right. Look.
The box office juggernaut. It beat out every other movie. It beat out Avatar for gross
highest
sales.
Grossing movie. Yeah.
So
all right, Tony Stark dies. There it is. The Band-Aid's off. All right. There you go. We warned you ahead of time. If you didn't see it,
I was gonna say Tony Stark moved to Mars, but yes, he did die.
Moved to Mars. That's what you tell your kids when your dog dies.
Oh, the
dog moved to Mars. Yeah, we had to give it.
Spot moved to Mars.
Spot moved to Mars.
So the kids kind of want to be astronauts so we can go see Spot.
Yeah, right? That's how dreams are started.
So Doctor Strange, it's official, will be in Spider-Man 3, thus confirming the Spider-Verse. I'm sorry. It's true. It's damn true. It has to be.
Okay. So the Spider-Verse is all the different incarnations of Spider-Man are related in different dimensions, but they manage to somehow come together, right?
Correct.
Okay, right. And we saw that in the animated Spider-Man movie from Sony in like 2017, 2018. I
didn't see it, but yes.
Oh my God. It's fantastic. Dan, you got to see it.
It is.
You got to see it. No. It is. It is legit fantastic. You have to see this movie. So there was that, and we got things like Miles Morales came into play, and Peter Parker, and Spider-Pig, and Spider-Gwen, and just like all these different incarnations, and they made it work in that movie. It was great, and now we have the plot device in Doctor Strange that could do it. We do know that, well, there's a theory that Doctor Strange is going to be involved in WandaVision, which may explain the weird, like, TV sitcom Through the Ages style of that show, right? So that would also lend
powers,
credence.
and she's jumping through alternate sort of like, realities. Yeah.
Right. And we do know that Doctor Strange can see, like, infinite realities and kind of jump between different things. Like, he's got all those crazy powers. Like, he's able to do that, and he would be the linchpin for that. So I think you're right. I think we could see some cool stuff like that. You said it was going to happen in 2, and I'm like, that would possibly make sense, and then that would allow for the X-Men to jump into the series, right? Because, like, where's like Wolverine in this whole entire time? Where's Cyclops and Storm? And
it's not going to be the same. Kevin Feige did say when he introduces the X-Men or mutants, it's not going to be the same way that the traditional way that we've already seen them. It's going to be in a different way. So
sure.
I'm kind of curious on what storyline they were going to pick, right? Where Wolverine isn't really a part of the X-Men, but he's an X-Men, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or what X-Men, or are they going to go with just like sort of the new age X-Men? So that is going to be super interesting, but I'm going to be disappointed if Wolverine's not a part of the X-Men. I'm sorry. Like, he needs to be a part of the X-Men.
I know.
I don't want to see it. I do want to see a standalone Wolverine, but I want to see him part of the X-Men. I want to see Professor X.
Well, you know it's not going to be what's his name? He's way too old at this point.
Not unless Doctor Strange. We just jump through realities and we see. Now I can't even think of his name.
I know, right? Yeah.
And then we see the Wolverine that we all know, and he passes the torch to the new Wolverine. No, that's not going to happen. That sounds stupid.
I don't know. Yeah. Listen, Feige's got a plan. Trust in the Feige.
So, Dave, as we always try to start the show but epically fail, what have you been playing?
Dan, I am happy to be a part of this failure because this is my favorite part of the show. You know it. I know it. The fans know it. I have been playing Super Mario 35, the Battle Royale Super Mario game. You thought Tetris was the be-all, end-all of Battle Royale. No. They made the Battle Royale. 35 people enter. One man leaves, right? So you basically play Super Mario Brothers, and you go through the levels, and people, every time you kill an enemy, it shows up on somebody else's screen. So that's how you kind of attack other people. And you get coins. You can use those coins. Every 20 coins, you can redeem like a random power-up, which is like kind of cool. So you can get a fire flower or a star or a mushroom. They added in the POW block from Mario Brothers, which is awesome. It's really cool. And then when you beat the level, you go on to a different level. It's not always in sequence. When you beat 1-2, sometimes you go back to 1-1. Sometimes you'll go ahead to 3-1. It all depends. Like, you get to choose what your level is out of all the levels, right? So you unlock like different levels as you like play through, which is super cool. So I have 3-1, 3-2, 5-1. I got some weird ones in there, and you can be like, I want this level in the mix, right? And it'll kind of randomize like what the next level is, which you go to, and you just keep going till you win. I made it to number 2. I got the silver spot. And I've gotten the silver spot a couple times. Yeah. It's tough. When you get down to like the final 4, it is tough. Because then you start getting into like, you start beating like Bowser levels and like underwater levels. So you're getting like cheap thrown at you and just Bowser in the middle of the level. So you got to like have enough coins to like, to get the superpowers to be able to like blast through them. But I'm having a hell of a good time with it. I hope they keep it around. Right now it's just limited. But they're
going to keep it around until March 31st.
Yeah. I mean, the trick of it is, and they made it work with Tetris 99, which is why that's still around. They need to be able to monetize it somehow. Because if they're not making money off it, it's just going to be a hemorrhage. And it's like, well, here's this free thing we're going to offer in perpetuity. So I think
it's not really free, though. You need Nintendo Online.
I mean, yes. So you do need to have you do need to have that
value to the Nintendo Online service. So if you have the online service, you can play online.
Yeah, I mean, but it's the same
just
thing
like
with Tetris
99.
Well, that's the same thing. You had to have the online service, but they found a way to make like money off it on top of that. So I don't know. Like I feel like that's the linchpin for it to like, okay, now it's a permanent fixture, right? If somehow, I don't know, we like talked offline. Maybe there was like a single player component that you could be like, well, I want to play on my own.
What's the single player component in Tetris 99? They have a physical edition for Tetris 99. What's the single component in that?
I don't.
98 other AIs against you.
Maybe that is it. Yeah, maybe that is it.
Then why can't they do that with Why can't they do that?
Well,
with
there is
Mario Brothers.
They do have like a practice mode, which I haven't tried. So I don't know if that has AI in it. If that's not the case, like maybe you do that and maybe you sell a bunch of skins, right?
You know what they should have did? They should have added
cosmetic stuff.
They should have added it like a bonus to the Mario 3D All-Star Collection.
To have like to have make this Tetris 35 a part of that?
No, not Super Mario 35. Yeah, make that a part of it, right? Because it's an anniversary. I mean, that's a limited edition too, right? So if they're both limited, why don't you put it instead of having its own physical, put it a part of that.
Oh yeah. Like, you know, if you like get this, you get a download code for the Super Mario 35. Sure, you know, that'd be a way to monetize it, for sure. That's like an additional whatever, you know, $35. I forget how much it is, but
so.
And then on top of that, I'm playing Trials of Mana for the Switch, which is the remake of the sequel to Secret of Mana, Second Densetsu 2 or 3. I think, in Japan, but the remake they put out is fantastic, and you know, making my way through that. So, how about you?
Okay, so I also played Super Mario Brothers 35 on the Switch. I didn't play as much as you. I only played it for maybe like, I want to say like 20 minutes.
Yeah. It's good though, right?
Well, I wanted to download it just so I remembered it down because I totally forgot about it. So I was like, let me just download it,
right,
so I can have it, and then I'll play it over time. I made it to 15. That was the highest I made it. I've only really played it 3 times, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, because I had no idea what the objective was the first 2 times I was playing. I was just playing to play. I thought I had to just beat the game. Which is not the objective. So
you honestly, like, you want to make sure you get the most amount of coins. You kill all the enemies that come up on your screen, and you definitely do want to use the I want to say it's the right analog stick. Because you can choose who you're attacking, right? You can choose people with the most amount of coins or who have the lowest amount of time left. Because if you kill other people, that makes your attacks to other people stronger, I think. So like when you stomp on a Goomba, that's usually worth like 1 Goomba on somebody else's screen. So I think when you kill people, you get more enemies dumped on their screen. So that's kind of.
And the fun thing is, you know, when it's like an enemy from another screen because they look like ghost Goombas, right?
Yeah.
They all look like ghost.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So I've been playing that. Well, I just popped that in. Also, something else I just popped in was Mafia: The Definitive Edition for the Xbox One.
Oh yeah. Yeah. How is
that? Definitely. I'm getting back into this game.
Yeah.
I was like super. I played maybe like the first hour. And I was like, I got to get back into this game. But I had to put Super Mario Brothers 35 to the side. I had to put Mafia: The Definitive Edition to the side because I've been playing. I've been getting into it. I'm really far in the game. Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time for the PS4.
Dad, it is about time you got into that game.
It's about time this game came out.
So you were super hyped for it. I mean,
it's so good. It is so hard. It really is hard. It's just a hard game. Okay, this gives me nightmares from back the original Crash Bandicoot trilogy. That's how hard it is. I love the different locations. It sort of gives me vibes of that Ratchet and Clank game that's coming out for the PS5, where you're like a ripped in time and you're going in different time periods and stuff. So. The set pieces are good. They do give you challenges with other characters. Well, one, you can play as the female Crash Bandicoot. You can switch between them two. But as you go on, you get to play as other characters too with different movesets. And you got to learn their movesets as you want to get through the level. And guess what? The level ain't easy. So you really need to get through it. The one thing I love about this game
Mm-hmm.
The main thing I love about this game is it doesn't kill you like the other Crash Bandicoot games back in the day, where you had like 3-5 lives and that's it. You had to figure it out, and if you didn't, you died. You go back to the beginning. You could die 1,000 times.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and you could die 1,000 times. You just have to figure out how to beat that section. If you hit the checkpoint, they don't make you restart the whole damn level.
There
which
you go.
Is still
there
to me
go.
crazy.
It's modern game design right there. All right.
Especially when you get into a boss battle, right? You look at the boss battle and it's like, oh, I only got to hit him 4 times. No, hit him once is hard. He's throwing the kitchen sink at you at the second hit.
Oh my God.
Okay, but if you die, you still keep that first hit. So if you got, if you got to hit him 4 times and you hit him the first time and then the second time you can't hit him, you still keep that first hit. So it doesn't take you back to where you got to get him. You got to hit him again, like all over again.
Right.
Which is, I love that part.
Nice.
So I'm really loving it. And it's funny, they sort of poke fun at themselves, right? They're like, in the beginning of the game, it's like, oh, this guy. Oh, didn't you beat this guy already? He's like, yeah, I beat him 3 times. He's like, I thought you beat him more times. Right? So they sort of this is Crash Bandicoot 4, direct sequel to the third
right,
game.
But all the other games that came out that weren't done necessarily by Naughty Dog, yeah.
Yeah, this is sort of like a I wink to those games. Like, I thought you beat this guy more times.
Yeah, right.
So.
Let's not talk about the PS2 entries. That's
or the Xbox or the GameCube.
Right.
Or the Wii.
Oh yeah. No. True. So, all right. So before we go to break, then we have an awesome giveaway going on right now. We are giving away 1 copy of Cyberpunk 2077 for the system of your choice, PS4, Xbox, or PC. To enter, you must be following us on YouTube. You must like this video and drop a comment on what you're looking forward to in Cyberpunk in the comments section. You can enter once per episode up until the launch of the game. This giveaway is open to U.S. residents only. And good luck to all who enter.
So let's take a break. And when we come back, we'll get into the top gaming news of last week.
What's up, everyone? This is Lily Zaldivar from Viz Media, and you're listening to the Rated G for Gamers podcast.
And we're back. All right, let's get into the top gaming news of last week. And we have to start with our lead story, and that's the Sony PlayStation 5 teardown. We finally got it.
So it was a long time coming.
And I got to say, long time coming. It was weird because it came out of nowhere. And it was just like some random guy who had the PlayStation 5 and he was taking it apart. And I just saw it online. I was like, what the hell? Is this real? I thought it was fake at first.
Yeah, like a month before it comes out.
Yeah. The funny thing is,
it was good.
The funny thing is, everybody's fears came true. This thing is huge. This is the biggest console of all time. Like,
yeah, it's bigger than the original Xbox, right? Which was
like, well, that thing was big, but that was mostly horizontal, right? Like that was like presented as a horizontal console.
Yeah, I mean, it was a big VCR,
yeah. This thing is presented as a big vertical console. This thing is huge.
It could do that,
15.35 inches in height, 4.9 inches in width. I mean, so, damn.
Is this going to fit in our entertainment consoles? I don't. I'm a little worried.
Hell no, this thing ain't going to fit. This thing is huge.
I might have to stand it upright or put it on top.
Well, I got to say, the one good thing about this is that it comes with a stand. Like all consoles, all PS5s come with a stand, which is a new thing because for the PS4, you had to buy the stand separately.
Right.
For the PS2, you had to buy the stand separately.
That's right. That's right.
So
you could technically stand the PS2 up on its own, but the stand gave it a little bit more rigidity, to be fair. I did have it up on its side for a little bit. And it,
well, to be honest, the PS4s, the PS4 Pro and the PS4, you can stand on its side too by itself. But having the stand there just makes me feel confident that it's not going to tip over.
Right.
So,
yeah. Do you know that you could? You know that you could turn. Sorry, just a quick little side note. Do you know that you could turn the logo on the PS2 and I think the PS4? You could. Well,
not the
definitely
PS4,
on
the PS3 and the PS2. You can.
The PS3 and you could turn the logo based on the orientation of your system, which is it's a very nice touch. You know, Sony definitely goes the distance when it comes to design. I will definitely give them that.
I'm not gonna lie, because I have like the PS2, all the different PS2 versions, the PS3 versions, and the Xbox 360 version lined up on a counter. Mm-hmm. So every time I walk by, I always just swirl the PlayStation logo. I just play with the PlayStation logos and swirl them. So right. I am aware of that.
Yeah.
So the stand, it comes with every system. It gets screwed on with you need a Phillips screwdriver. Mm-hmm. The good thing is, and this is the thing when you want to talk about design, it comes off, you screw it off, and the screw goes back into the console, nice and neat, so you don't lose it.
Nice.
So that's they were thinking on that one. Mm-hmm. And then if you put it horizontal, the stand clips onto the back, and it keeps it up horizontal. And I got to say, I didn't like it horizontal when I saw it in the pictures when they first showed the PS5, but. Seeing him take the stand off and put it horizontal, it looks pretty damn good. I'm not gonna lie.
You like it? Good. Yeah. I mean, it certainly has a certain aesthetic to it. I'll give it that. I'm still not like
futuristic aesthetic.
Yeah. I mean, like it kind of looks like that. It kind of looks like that city from Guardians of the Galaxy, right? It's all kind of like white and pristine, and it's got the angles to it. Everything's curved, right? It's like, it certainly does look like the future. And one thing that was cool too, because we didn't know this before, is the panels come off, so you can like quote unquote rip the panels off, and you can get into like the little like dust catcher units to like clean out any like debris or whatever that come into it, and then that's where you get also to the external storage, right? We know that it has like a little NVMe style M2 storage slot, so you can kind of expand it out that way, which is like kind of nice. And then they like started taking everything apart, and they're like, here is the board, right? It's one giant board, which is the system on the chip, and it had a couple other like bits and pieces on there, but it's like a huge big thing. And one thing that I found interesting is that they're using liquid metal versus standard thermal paste, right? And I didn't know much about liquid metal, in terms of its like cooling properties and whatnot. Very difficult to put together, and it also like wears out a lot more quicker than thermal paste. Like everything's going to dry up eventually. But liquid metal.
I can't have my PS5 30 years from now. It's not going to work 30 years from now. Come on.
Well, I mean, apparently Sony's made it work, right? They've found a way to do the liquid metal on there and have it not dry up and crack and whatever and leak out. So they found a way to make it work over a length of time. So I'm going to assume at least 10 to 15 years. You may get 30 years out of it. We'll see. We'll see how good the construction is.
I want 30 years. I want to be in a nursing home playing my PS5, even though the PS10 is out.
Well,
nostalgic, playing retro games.
I know. It's supposed to be a better solution, but harder to implement, the liquid cooling versus like standard thermal paste. So good on like Sony for doing that. That'll definitely kind of bring the temps down, which is good. And, they have an interesting design. Like the reason it's all curved and whatever is, to kind of manage airflow and have it kind of flow through the system and head out the back. So it may look weird, but it's all done for a purpose. So.
Well, the whole reason why it's so big is because of that giant heat sink, right? Mm-hmm. Right. That's in the middle. Mm-hmm. I still haven't put my PC together, as Dave always tells me.
You don't have any parts for it. You don't have any parts for it. I mean, I barely know about airflow, to be honest, but
I know jack about this, but just on common sense, a heat sink, right? So to keep it cool, right? One of the reasons why it's going to be whisper quiet. That's why the machine is that big. Mm-hmm. And I think I was listening to either Digital Foundry or Spawnwave on great YouTube channels, by the way. You should go check them out, or maybe both. That they said that a lot of these parts are going to be cheaper in 2 years, meaning, that's when we'll get the revision to the PS5 and we'll get the slim model and they'll slim it all down because they can make the same thing and it'll be cooler because the parts will be cheaper.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, they're banking on that for sure. They're thinking about the long term with this. So hopefully that pans out.
Well, the design for the heatsink and all of this started like in 2015, like 2 years after the PS4 was released.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Well, they always do R&D very, very short after the current console. Yeah, because I mean it's only like a 5-6 year lifespan for any generation of like a console. So, and it takes a long while. Like I'm pretty sure Xbox already started some R&D pretty soon after the Xbox came out too, right?
Nah, screw Xbox. I'm sure Nintendo is worrying about the Switch Pro right now.
They better be
like 4 years.
If they don't have a prototype ready to go. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But finally, I mean, it's kind of good to see we got the internals. Now all we need to see is what the damn UI looks like, right? We got some looks at the Xbox, the new Xbox UI, right? Because there's a bunch of updates coming to the OS currently for Xbox One. They're trying to homogenize everything, and there's some YouTubers and some people on Twitch and Twitter that got like some early copies of the system. And, we've kind of seen some stuff with it. So like it looks cool. We haven't gotten a full kind of presentation on it. I hope we get both. But I guess that's really the last piece of the puzzle, right? We've seen gameplay.
Well, they did mention as far as backwards compatibility. Also, the same time that the breakdown came down, the teardown came down, is that we know for a fact now that at least 4,000 PS4 games will be playable in the PS5. However, there will be 10 games that will not work on the PS5. Mm-hmm. And it's weird. It's like they had to I guess they tested. They had to test every single game, right? They had to go through the whole library and test it and see what worked and what wouldn't work.
At least on a basic level, will this game load? Will this game play? Can we say yes, you can play this game? At least that.
Well, and when I saw this list of the 10 games, the first thing that came to my mind, and this is I'm not going to go through all 10 games, but Afro Samurai 2 is not playable in the PS4. And the first thing I thought of, they made a sequel?
Uh-huh.
I know about Afro Samurai on the PS3. I didn't even know they made a sequel. They made a sequel.
Yeah.
So it has to be digital because I tried to find it physically and I couldn't find it. So it has to be a digital only game, I guess.
Maybe.
I don't know. Or
maybe. Yeah.
I'm like,
I don't think that has anything to do with. I don't think that has anything to do with why it's not compatible, but it is definitely curious that like why like this game.
Well, that game, just deal with it. It's a game that's not playable. Shadow Complex, I think, is the biggest game. The Shadow Complex remastered.
Shadow Complex, yeah, definitely the best game out of this list.
Yes, I have this game physically for the PS4. Mm-hmm. I think I got it from Limited Run a long time ago, and then Hitman Go, the definitive edition.
Yeah,
that's kind of a weird game, not to play. And Joe's Diner. Maybe the worst game ever to be made. I
know. I know you're very upset that you can't play this, Dan.
It's so bad that it's not backwards compatible with the PS5. Mm-hmm.
So I wonder
how bad it is.
I wonder what the thread to all of this is, right? These are obviously like either budget titles or like indie games. Sans maybe like TT Isle of Man, all right? That's on this list, which is like a bike riding, motorbike game. I don't think that was a indie title, but yeah. So that's like 99.9% of all games will play, right? They did say that some features wouldn't be supported, right? The way you do like sharing, I think, is different. You have to do that with a PS5 DualSense controller. And I think like some things like tournaments and whatnot wouldn't be compatible, right? There's some stuff that's just not going to work. But in general, you should be able to take your PS4 library, pop in a disc, and have it play, which is pretty good. Like they've definitely come a long way from their 100, like the top 100 games, which was their first thing that they said. We're going to support the top 100 games.
And then they kept it as of right now. which was a year ago. As of right now, we have the top 100 games. Right?
Well, sure, and that was like their statement for a while, and now they're saying nope, we're gonna have like this like compatibility list, which is going to be strong. So, I honestly think we may be able to get away with one PlayStation console and one Xbox console for just about everything, right? And like the games you can't get, or you can't just like pop in a PS1 or PS2 disc, you can probably get them from the PlayStation Store, right? You know, they'll probably have a thing you can download and like you could just play the virtual, right?
Well,
and play the digital edition of it.
That's true, unless it's a PS3, PSP, or PS Vita game. Because it looks like PlayStation will be they're gonna shut down. Well, at least they're gonna stop selling PS3, PSP, and Vita games October 19th on the web version and October 28th on the mobile version. So they're gonna stop all PS3 games and add-ons, PSP game and add-ons, PlayStation Vita and add-ons, themes, avatars, and apps. I don't know about buying it from the console per se, but as long as buying it from the web, on a web browser or on your phone. And what I mean by that is a lot of times if I want to, if there's like a indie game I want to check out, I usually know about it while I'm looking at it on YouTube or something. So I just go to my PlayStation account online, find the game, buy it, and it automatically downloads to my PlayStation when I turn it on. So you won't be able to do that with older games. So I don't know what I don't know what the deal is. I don't know what they're going to try to do, make it better, or have something different for PS5. Or all these games are going to be on PS Now, and you gotta subscribe.
Oh, maybe, so maybe. Yeah, no, I mean it's interesting.
But they haven't said this. But they haven't said the store from the PS4 console or the PS Vita console.
Right.
It's just the web and mobile versions.
Right. Interesting.
And just to be on the safe side, all my digital games I have on Vita, which I have like maybe 3 or 4, I'm going to go back and re-download.
just in case you want to have them ready to go. Yeah.
Just in case. Yeah. Just in case.
Yeah, you never know.
But to put the sort of, close out the PlayStation, I got to say, on PlayStation News, this is something that you put me on because I didn't know about this, and this had to be over 100 episodes ago at this point.
We talked about it not like too long ago.
The difference between the X button in America and the cross button, how they call it in Japan.
Europe. Europe was the cross.
Europe is the cross button. Where, when we go through the menu system, we usually just hit X as a default, where in Japan they hit circle, because circle means like life or something. I forgot what the meaning is. And that's just muscle memory, right? We just have that muscle memory.
Yeah.
Now the default section will be the X button or the cross button across the board in all territories.
Yep.
So if you're in Japan, you either have to get used to hitting the X button for OK or going through the menu system, or I think you can actually. They haven't confirmed this. You can do it on the PS4. So I can't imagine. I would assume you could do it on the PS5. That you can just button map and change the.
Well,
you have to actually manually go in and do it.
They made it on the PS4 in an update recently that you could swap them around if you wanted to, right? And that was for, I think, the Japanese consoles. You could like flip them around, like if you were an American going overseas and whatnot. You're like, I don't know what's going on. I need to like flip these buttons around. They should have it on the PS5. I don't know if I don't know if they're going to like put that in there, but they should do that, right? I get why they want a uniform like across the board. Like, look, this is what it is. But they should at least give you a way to like flip it if you want to. And yeah, I think you're right about like circle, I think, being life. It's also like OK, right? You make the OK symbol. It's like a circle with the hands up. And then X is typically like a cancel or like a back out. So that's what that was. And for some reason, when it came over here in America, they flipped it around again. And it's like, well, it's weird. It's weird. But everyone's just kind of used to. Yeah.
Well, think about it in our everyday life. Well, I work in a law firm, right? What do we do? We sign documents. What did it do? Sign next to the X, right? X is okay. Yeah. Enter, right? That's what we're used to. We're not used to. Imagine somebody says sign next to the circle.
Well, I mean,
it's always an X on the document, right? Sign next to the X.
Well,
right?
That's interesting. The spot. Yeah, X marks the spot in some cases. But then, like, yeah, it is kind of interesting. But then if you go to like an ATM, X is to cancel and then circle is okay. I wonder how that came about.
You know what? Yeah, actually, I didn't think about that.
I wonder how that came about.
I don't really go to ATMs like that, but yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh.
All right, well, let's stick with Japan. Mm-hmm. This is also interesting to me, and I really wanted to talk about it. Mm-hmm. The Famitsu sales came out for the last week of September, early week of October. Mm-hmm. Physical units only. Okay, this isn't digital. This is physical.
All right.
And I got to be honest, I was totally shocked. You know why I was shocked, Dave?
Why?
Animal Crossing New Horizons was #1 in Japan for that week.
Well, why is that surprising?
Like Animal Crossing, which sold like 22 million units already. Who in Japan doesn't have this game? It overthrows Super Mario 3D All Stars? Who in Japan doesn't have Animal Crossing already?
There's people that don't own every system like we do.
I guess so. I mean, I guess.
Yes, that's 100% true. All right. Or there's kids who grow up and are now able to play these games, so they're like, I want Animal Crossing. There's a lot of new people, a lot of new gamers that are coming up.
So
I mean,
they usually get it during Christmas. For some odd reason, in the last week of September, early October, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is number 4 in the list.
I know.
And Minecraft is number 9 on this list.
Still on the list. Yeah. Yeah. Granted, it's only like 6,000 sales, but still, the game that's been out since like, I don't know, the early 2010s. People are still buying. I think
So Minecraft is so old that it came out on the Vita.
Yeah.
It was out on the Vita. I have the Vita version, which is really only a case with a code inside, which I'm disappointed in.
I hate it.
But the Vita, it came out for the Vita like in 2012. I think 2012. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow.
That's crazy.
PS3, Xbox 360. That's how old this game is, and it's still selling. Oh my god! I just had to rant about that. Like, who in Japan doesn't have Minecraft?
Listen, I don't have Animal Crossing or Minecraft, so there you go. You want to ask who? Right. Me. I don't have the game.
All right. Well, I will say this though. Now we know why there was a Smash Brothers crossover with Minecraft. Right? Minecraft is big in Japan. People love Minecraft.
Sure.
It could be Xbox's system seller if they come up with a brand new Minecraft game, Minecraft 2.
Like Minecraft. You
never know.
Yeah. Well, they had the Minecraft which yeah,
it's not going to be a system seller because they would just release it on the Switch. They were released Minecraft everywhere.
Oh, I mean, sure. So. Yeah. Or they would at least make it a timed exclusive.
Yeah. All right, let's shift gears. Let's talk about Xbox. Mm-hmm. All right. As you said earlier, a lot of influencers and media got sort of demo units of the Series X. I want to say it is not. They made it very clear that this is not indicative of
not a
retail
product.
Unit.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sure there'll be some tweaks made to it. These are probably the demo units you would have been playing on if there was an E3 this year, right? Earlier this year.
Oh, most likely.
So Giant Bomb, sort of did a stream with the Xbox, and he said it was really hot. It was so hot when he took the expansion port out, it almost burnt his fingers. That's how hot it was, and he dropped them on the floor.
Oh boy.
So there are some reports of the Series X running hot, but for the most part, a lot of other outlets like IGN and GameSpot said it didn't run hot for them, but it definitely runs whisper quiet. Which, to be fair, if we're gonna say this is not a retail unit, so this is not indicative that the retail unit it's not gonna run hot. Let's be fair on the other side too, that we don't know if the retail unit is gonna run whisper quiet like sort of the demo units that are out there with influencers and media and the press.
Well, I mean,
because I gotta say, my Xbox Series X ain't whisper quiet. I was playing Mafia the other day, and it kind of sounded like my PS4 Pro a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
It's not as bad as the PS4 Pro. The PS4 Pro is loud.
The PS4
That's like an
Pro
airplane. That's like an airplane flying off. I'm sorry.
The PS4 Pro is definitely the loudest. And
yes,
that's an airplane. Then the Series X. Then the Series X. The Series X was definitely a high-powered helicopter. Okay. All right. So, or a fighter jet. I mean, it was definitely chugging when I was playing Mafia the other day.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I have mine all in the entertainment consoles with like the door closed, so that kind of mutes a lot of the sound for me. So, and I think
I have them all vertical, standing up next to each other.
Oh, there you go. There you go. I think like part of it too is
I can hear it clear as day.
Right. I think like part of it too is I don't have necessarily like. I have a pretty high tolerance for like noise and stuff like that. I'm able to kind of like tune it out. So if these new consoles are loud, okay. I mean, it stinks because, if they're running really loud, then that means they're really like trying to dissipate heat, which is not the best in the world, right? If it's generating a lot of heat, which means the fans kick up a lot, which means you're going to like kind of, your parts are going to wear down a lot quicker. So you have that to worry about, right? With any of these consoles. But I mean, I'm gonna say this: proof is in the pudding, right? Give me the console, let me see how it is, real world performance, and we'll take it from there. I hope they run both whisper quiet. I hope they both are fairly cool for what they are. But yeah.
All right. Well, this isn't so much an Xbox story as it is a Microsoft story.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, Microsoft and GameStop have come to some agreement with their retail chain stores. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I know we talked about the digital future is coming and GameStop is like on its last legs. However, this deal could extend GameStop's lifespan for a couple of years. All right. Now, some people initially thought this would turn GameStops into Xbox stores, but it's not. It's not an Xbox deal. It's a Microsoft deal. Okay. And apparently the deal will entail of changing their whole infrastructure in the store. Meaning, so you ever go to GameStop and you're like, hey, do you guys have this in stock? And then the guy has to leave, go back behind the counter, check the system, says, I don't know, let me go in the back. And then he goes in the back, comes out, and he says, we don't have it. Let me check
end up not
store.
having it. Yep.
And that stuff is a thing of the past, if this is to be believed, because Microsoft will supply the whole just infrastructure for GameStop and their computer systems. And every person or every GameStop employee will have a Surface on them where they can check inventory and talk to other stores. So if you want to reserve something at another store, he doesn't have to go or behind the counter and call the other store. He can do it on his Surface tablet, right? So it's basically modernizing their systems, which I mean,
it needs it.
What took so goddamn long? Right?
It's a lot of work to do that infrastructure overhaul, right? To be fair. And if Microsoft is putting money into it, like, there you go. There's your influx of cash.
So, but of course, there's a little bit of Xbox influence into this, because now, just like Best Buy and I think Target and Walmart, GameStop now has access to sell Xbox All Access, no pun intended. Meaning if you want to upgrade and buy a console, but you don't want to spend $500, you get to spend $34.99 a month for 2 years. And that will entail have Games Pass in that, right? So you're paying, I think it's like $25 for the system, and you're paying $10 extra for Games Pass, so it's $35 a month, right? GameStop will get a piece of that. Every time there's a Game Pass sale, they'll get a piece of that Game Pass sale, right? So it's just an extra stream of revenue, or something else for them to push other than pre-orders.
So the interesting thing about that, though, is that they're going to incentivize, GameStop is going to incentivize their employees to push Xbox consoles, if that's the case, right? Like,
it's not about Xbox. No, it's not about the console. It's about the service. Getting if you.
Well, that's what I mean, though. That's what I mean.
The credit you have to. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because
they're gonna still make money. They're still making money on the PlayStation and on the Switch as well. So either way, they make money.
Well, they're making more money on getting into the service, right? Because they get a cut of every sale in that case. Like I would assume that Microsoft wants to turn it into an Xbox centric style system, right? And GameStop is incentivized to sell that system over like a PlayStation or like a Switch.
I don't think so. I think Microsoft shut down most of their stores, majority of their stores. They only kept like a handful of stores, mainly the one in New York, because they don't want to be in a retail business, but they want to be in bed with retailers, right? Mm-hmm. So this is the same incentivized service that they have with Best Buy, Target, and Walmart. So there's nothing different than they do with Best Buy. And Best Buy is not going to just push Xboxes. They're going to push PlayStation 5, Xboxes, and
Best Buy get a cut?
Switches.
Does Best Buy get a cut
I think they do.
GameStop does?
I think they do.
Well,
I think they do. I think they all do.
Again, if that was the case, like me as like a Best Buy CEO or whatever, I'm incentivized now to sell Xbox consoles, right? Like,
I don't know, because you don't want to piss off. No, it doesn't, because you don't want to piss off PlayStation and Sony and Nintendo.
Well, no, you're not gonna advertise. You're not gonna advertise as a company that we're pushing
if you're gonna
this,
incentivize. But... if you're gonna incentivize another console, then we'll pull our consoles from your store. So I don't.
I mean, this is like common knowledge that like we know now that GameStop is getting a bonus, and I guess Best Buy is getting like a part of.
Well, everyone's getting a piece of it.
Yeah, exactly. So you could assume. You could assume that, well, obviously they're going to try and push the Xbox console. GameStop is never going to say that outright.
I'm not going to assume any of that, because for someone who works in retail, and I don't think you weren't there. You weren't there at this particular time. I was there. I was there when Apple pulled all their products from Circuit Cities. Because
trust me, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
The person said, no, you don't want to buy a Mac. You don't want to buy a Apple laptop. You want to buy a HP. I think it was an HP computer they were trying to steer them towards, because we made a higher markup on HP computers than we did Apple. And he just so happens to said it. He said it to an Apple employee who went back and told management, which is why. Ever since then, till its demise, Circuit City didn't sell.
Right.
Apple
I don't think a single employee incident is the reason that they're specifically pulled out their stuff.
Well, I mean, it didn't help. It didn't help.
Well, I mean, certainly not helpful.
Last straw.
But, I mean, like if you look how it is in the Best Buy stores, they specifically have their own space, which is curated, and it looks nice, and it puts their product in a proper light, right? And the same thing with Samsung. Samsung's got their dedicated space, and they make sure that it looks good and it makes the product look good, because Apple is and rightly so. They want a certain image. They want their product to be displayed in a certain way, and it's like, look, if you can't do that, then we're not going to have the product set up here. So I think maybe like a little bit of that was like kind of going on, but like back to like the point though, I can't see why they wouldn't. Right, if they're making a higher profit margin off one product than like the other.
Well, we don't know what the profit margin is, though. You're assuming it's a higher profit margin. They're getting a piece. They're not getting half.
Well, that's what I mean, though. That's what I mean. If they're getting a piece,
they're getting a piece of it, just like they're getting a piece of every PS5 they sell, and they're getting a piece of every Switch they sell.
But they're getting the system plus the Games Pass, whatever the bid is, right? Like, okay, maybe it's not more. I don't know.
No, they're just getting a piece of the Game Pass. They're not getting the system.
Right. Oh, well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about the particulars. It seemed like it was a lucrative deal for GameStop. Maybe it was more of a bailing out.
I think again, it's this story is less about selling a Game Pass, because they're just in the same boat that Best Buy, Walmart, and Target is. The story is about them overhauling their whole infrastructure,
right? Which is what they need,
to be more modern. So, right. and we did a whole segment on how we save GameStop.
There you go.
This is one way you save
Microsoft
it,
saved them.
This is one way you save them, and the next way you save them is by changing just the store layout. It just gives you vibes of an 80s rental store.
Oh, it looks like an old school Blockbuster. Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, it needs to be more modern, like an Apple store or like a Microsoft store. Like it needs to be more modern, where and maybe just display the games on a wall a little bit in more of a modern way instead of the way they have it now, and have just tables everywhere, right? And a couple of kiosks so you can play games.
And also get rid of all the damn ThinkGeek merchandise, because it's just always on clearance and nobody buys it.
Well, right? You know what? Maybe this is what you do, right? Because I don't think they can actually get rid of it since they spend a lot of money to buy ThinkGeek. Maybe just make, the figures you can keep in the store, in certain sections of the store, or maybe certain stores, but keep all the junk online, right? And
I mean, they already have the online store. Yeah, they already have an online infrastructure to buy stuff, but it's just too much. Keep the junk online and not in the store. So if you want to buy a Legend of Zelda sock, you buy it from the online store, not in the store, actually. Right.
Then,
you do like a curated, like, we have these select items, and if you want to incentivize for if someone spends over $100 or something in GameStop, give them like a 20% off coupon for all the junk to buy the stuff online. Yeah, right. Yeah. I think that's all. I think that's all smart stuff. This is definitely much needed. This year has been crazy. I honestly thought GameStop would have been filing for bankruptcy already. This could be a Reggie move.
This could have been a Reggie move.
The whole like Microsoft thing. You know what? He may have had a big hand in brokering this, right? Reggie is a genius. Reggie does good things. I don't think so. Yeah,
I want to give him credit. I hope this is.
We don't know, but we don't know. Yeah, and I don't think there's anything bad about this partnership, right? I think it's good, especially on GameStop's side.
Listen, I would love when I go to GameStop and I say, "Hey, do you have this in stock?" And he just looks at the service tablet right in front of me and types it in and says, "Yes, we do."
And
I can buy it
actual
right
stock.
There. I don't have to go to the register.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. This could be the start of them doing digital games too. You never know, right? Where they could be able to, if they needed to change the whole infrastructure anyway.
Sure.
They could start selling digital games as well.
Where you could just buy it in the, if you just happen to be out shopping and you're like, hey, I want this game. Okay, yeah, we got it. And you know what? When you get home, it's going to be queued up on your Xbox One. All right.
Yeah. What's your gamer tag?
Right.
Well, what's your gamer tag? All right, boom, we put it in, so it's gonna load up on your system, on your Switch, on your Xbox, or your PlayStation when you get home.
See, that's kind of hot.
Or your Stadia. You never know.
Let's not get crazy. Dan.
Yeah, maybe not so much. So let's end with this, because this is, you want to talk about cool? This is really cool. We got the trailer for the Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate Edition, right? Well, it's really the second DLC pack, and everybody's been asking. Everybody wants this. They've been asking this since Mortal Kombat 11 came out. When are we going to get Melina? And you got Melina, and you got Rain.
Yay! Oh, Rain is cool.
You got the two major guys that people have been asking for, and then you got this small. And you got a third guy. You got this guy named Rambo. Rambo is coming to Mortal Kombat.
John Rambo?
Fucking cool.
John Rambo?
This is cool.
John motherfucking Rambo?
Wow. If you're as old as we are and you ever wanted to know what would happen if Sylvester Stallone won up against Arnold Schwarzenegger,
there you go.
You can do it now in Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah.
You can have Rambo versus the Terminator.
It is badass, because you see Rain fighting and you see Melina fighting, right? They're doing their thing. And then, like, in the bush, it's like you hear some rustling and whatnot, and then it's like Rambo coming out with the bow, and it's like, yes, I did not know that I wanted this so bad. Yes, he's badass. And let's not go ahead and bury the lead. Sylvester Stallone did the voice of John Rambo. It's not a sound-alike, which is incredible. Which is incredible.
Did Arnold do the voice, or was it a sound-alike? I forgot.
He did. I think he did too. I think they got him to record lines, or at least they used his actual movie lines. Like they were able to get clips and whatnot, or get the rights to those clips So that's awesome.
This is awesome. I wonder what his fatality is going to be.
It's probably gonna take a machete.
He comes by. No, he comes by in a helicopter with the big machine gun and just pumps you full of holes.
Oh,
nice.
Right?
He jumps in a helicopter, hooks you, throw you in the jungle, and then comes around with the big machine gun and just punk.
I thought he was gonna take the machete out,
pull the clip out on you,
lop your head out. You could do that too.
That could be. You could do that too.
You know,
I think it's interesting that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's interesting that we have RoboCop, we have Rambo, and we have
Terminator,
right? And these are all guys with guns,
right?
These are all guys with guns, right? Where before we had sort of, we had Freddy Krueger, we had
Jason,
and it was somebody else I can't think of off the top of my head.
Well, Predator was in there too, but Predator.
Predator. Yeah, I don't know.
Predator had some
we had aliens and Predator.
Yeah, the Predator had some arm-mounted missiles, I think.
He does have arm-mounted missiles, but his main, sort of, they all have like
the big blades,
knife or a blade or something like that. So this pack for Mortal Kombat 11, that was Mortal Kombat 10. So Mortal Kombat 11, you got a lot of guys with guns. Mm-hmm. So I want to say, could you think of anybody else? Because remember, these are all 80s characters, right? Rambo, RoboCop, Terminator. Is there like somebody from the 80s that has a gun that they would probably put in the next DLC pack?
Well, I'll tell you what. You just have to look at that game Broforce, which is like every 80s action superstar in a like side-scrolling shooter. So, I mean, you could get like Bruce Willis, right, to be his character from Die Hard, John McClane. That could probably work. Yeah, I mean,
you know what I want? You know what I want? I want? I'm gonna tell you right now. I want one of two things. All right. I want either Van Damme from Universal Soldier.
Oh my God.
Okay. All right. Or I want Snake Plissken.
Snake Plissken would be good too, right? He's badass.
Escape from New York.
Yeah.
Yeah. These are guys with guns, and that was the 80s. Maybe that Universal Soldier was the 90s.
Not 90s, yeah.
Or but John McClane. John McClane. John McClane from Die Hard.
That's what I said. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, there's like a ton of people they can like choose from. There's a lot of good people, and they always make it work, right? It always fits. Somehow, some way, these characters fit within the universe, right? You get a giant alien, you put it in the Mortal Kombat world, and they make it work. So I could see them doing that. Yeah, I could see them doing that. So yeah, I guess that about ends our show. That's episode 239 in the books. Before we go though, we want to thank all of our wonderful fans who have supported us. And if you want to interact with us, and we know that you do, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Rated G for Gamers. And don't forget, we are giving away one copy of Cyberpunk 2077 for the system of your choice. That's PS4, Xbox One, or PC. To enter, you must be following us on YouTube. You must like the video, drop a comment on what you're looking forward to in Cyberpunk in the comment section. Note that you can enter once per episode up until the launch of the game. This giveaway is open to U.S. residents only, and good luck to everyone who enters. So, please listen, like, rate, review, and subscribe. And as always,
keep gaming.